Hello, my fellow Earth Angel. I'm Sav, they, them, and today I'm taking you along with me as I go foraging, or rather wild tending, some medicinal plants that grow in this area next to the Badawat. I also feel inspired to start a conversation between more genderqueer people like myself who have periods and want to work with them, but not in the traditional woman way, rather in a non-binary earth way. I feel the most understood in my genderlessness when I'm being held in the loving arms of Earth, because I know that Earth understands all variations of sex and gender and the lack thereof, because it holds all of that, all of those possibilities within it. And it is the thing that created all of these beautiful expressions of gender and sex. So come along with me today as we look for a wonderful plant ally that I have grown to love so deeply in supporting my menstrual cycle, as well as the dream realm and emotional regulation. Maple bacon, cinnamon sugar, and these are the best donuts I have ever had ever in my life. I'm on the hunt for some mugwort because I love mugwort. I see some already. California mugwort, identified by the very soft, fuzzy leaves with these very silvery undersides that resemble the light of the moon, but then a green top side. And if you smell it, it's absolutely unmistakable. They're really pliable. Let's see, are the leaves? The leaves are, I forget what the not opposite is. When they come out, they go like one leaf, two leaf, one leaf, two leaf, instead of like directly across from each other. This isn't a very big patch, and I know that there's much larger patches in this area, so let's go find a thicker patch. Behold, all the silvery leaves, all of that, as far as the eye can see, is mugwort. Be a much better place to harvest from. But as I was saying, I think talking about mugwort today is the perfect thing because I'm talking about my menstrual cycle and my experience of PMDD, as well as my experience of working with the menstrual energies while being genderqueer. But first, let's do some honorable harvest of mugwort so that they know that we enjoy working with them as a medicine and that they should keep on growing. In my practice with wild harvesting, or rather wild tending of plants and fungi, I have developed, my own way of doing honorable harvest, which involves making some kind of offering, not taking the first plant that you see or not taking from the first plant or not taking from the first patch of that plant that you see. Generally not taking more than a third of like the berries on the bush, or definitely not taking a third of like the foliage, or more than a third of the foliage on a bush, and not more than, I think, 10% of the leaves on like trees, for example. But it all just depends on what kind of plant you're working with. And I think a better rule of thumb, other than trying to like remember, some vague percentages, is just to think, how much do I need? How much am I going to use realistically? And it takes some experimentation, but that's okay. The plants are forgiving as long as, you can be extra mindful and careful when working with them. But they want to be worked with, and most of them, when we work with them in right relationship, honoring what they are capable of giving, it actually stimulates their growth much of the time. I went to go get some more mugwort, and in the process I found solstice wort, otherwise known as St. John's wort, and I'm really happy because it's a nice big patch. They're at exactly the right stage for harvest, and I'm close to home, so I can really quickly make them into a tincture with the fresh plant, which is the preferred, my preferred method that was recommended to me. Particularly stoked about this because I didn't know of any places that weren't directly beside the road that are close to my house, because it just doesn't get very hot where I live, and I thought I was gonna miss out on the St. John's wort this year, but wow, like this is a really big gift, and I hope that the land likes the offering that I gave it. Seems like it does. So how you know that the solstice wort is ready to be harvested is because you can see that the buds are swollen and they're about to bloom. And this is a pretty good example, but I could honestly find you a better example. I don't know if this is a better example, but I'm gonna take these. Here's where some of the nuance comes in as well, because technically St. John's wort is invasive to Turtle Island. And so when it comes to harvesting it, it's kind of this interesting balance, because I really want access to this fresh medicine. It's really, 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 powerful medicine that I want to keep having access to. But I also want to make sure that it stays in balance in this ecosystem as much as we, can help it stay that way, because we don't want it out competing the other wonderful medicinal, edible, and pollinator friendly plants that grow in this area. So I'm not going to be as afraid of harvesting too much since it is not native to this land, but I do want to let some of it go to seed, and I feel that that is a responsible way to be in stewardship of the land. But I am very open to learning, and it's important that we listen to both the plants and the animals and the humans that are native to this place, that know this place best. Back on the hunt for more mugwort, and there's plenty around, but I'm being picky about it. I'm also gonna take some flowers home because it's bouquet making season, and I'm really stoked about it. See, solstice wort does this other really cool thing, which is that when it gets harvested from the main stem, it puts a lot more energy into these side stems to make more flowers. It gets bushier. And you can see from this cut that's a little older that someone, human or not, probably human, came by and noticed this St. John's wort and harvested some, and now it's this incredibly bushy plant that has way more buds than it would have if that person hadn't done that. It's thimbleberries. Evidence of fresh ones, or ripe ones, I should say. Let's see if there's any ripe ones. Seeing any ripe ones, the birds probably got to them first, as they should. I was gonna talk about my experience with my menstrual cycle while I'm here, but I just tried to record that, and honestly it just didn't feel quite right. So I'll tell you guys a little more about mugwort and what I'm learning about them, and then I'm just gonna put my phone away and enjoy the river because there's so many birds out. Like that guy that just flew past that's eating all the bugs is called something like the green-backed sparrow or the emerald-backed sparrow or something like that. And they have insane moves, flight moves. And the Swainson's thrushes are singing their songs, and it's like one of my favorite songs. I hope you guys can hear it. It's like that. I'm not very good at it. But yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy the birds and the trees and the water, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get in yet because I didn't bring a bathing suit. So let's talk about mugwort. Mugwort. So what I know about mugwort, please let me know what you know about mugwort in the comments. What I know about mugwort is they have a strong association to the moon, partially because of their gorgeous silvery color, but also because I believe they are associated to have a very yin energy. They're known to be very supportive of people, of menstruating people, helping to bring on menstruation, as well as just kind of clear out any like stagnant energy that might be making your period come late. Mugwort is a great harmonizer. It's also very strongly associated with dreams in the dream realm, astral travel, lucid dreaming. It's associated with sleep and the unconscious. I can't stop smelling it. It just smells so good. It can help kind of repel bugs. It's obviously not the strongest bug repellent, but it does help repel bugs. So it can't hurt if you just rub some on the skin, you know, if you're getting really bit up by mosquitoes around these bodies of water, which is where mugwort tends to enjoy growing. Although you can still find it on a relatively dry, you know, meadowy hillside every once in a while. So going back to mugwort being a great harmonizer and how that relates to the dream realms, well, while mugwort is known to bring on very vivid dreams, and this can be helpful in use with divination or exploring, you know, these sort of like deep layers of your emotional realms, it also has been known to help relax the dreams of people who tend to have too intense, too vivid of dreams. So it can actually help bring some peace of mind to people in that situation. And so that's part of why I consider it a really good harmonizing herb. And it also has, you know, scent notes of this juicy, rich undertone that's very grounded and earthy, but it also has these like kind of spicy, aromatic, and pungent notes, very similar to lavender, kind of similar to some sages as well. In tea form, mugwort is a bit astringent, and it still does retain that kind of spicy, herbal, almost minty flavor. And the astringency in mugwort can be really beneficial for, again, clearing out blockages. And physically how that shows up is it's good at stimulating bile, it's good for the digestive system, it's really helpful in supporting our liver in its detoxification process. And it's one of those things where when you're feeling sleepy, you can smell mugwort or sip on some mugwort tea, and it can kind of help bring a little bit more vital energy to you. But if you're overstimulated, or you're feeling kind of clogged up energetically, you can drink some mugwort. It'll help clear you out and take you down and de-stimulate you. So I love this plant very, 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 very much. It's good fresh, it's good dried, it keeps for a nice long time as long as you know, keep it out of sun. But even if you did keep it in the sun, it maintains a lot of its oils because it's a very, very smelly, oily plant. Not sticky though. It's just, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love mugwort. Mugwort has been used across many continents for essentially forever, for as long as humans have been interacting with plants. Humans have been interacting with mugwort. Even in ancient texts of traditional Chinese medicine from thousands of years ago, mugwort is implicated. And California mugwort is native to Turtle Island, native to California areas, and has a lot of basically the same benefits. All right, I have talked about mugwort for 8 minutes, so I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my river day, and I'll catch you back at home. The sun is coming out. I think I'm gonna get in the river. Thank you so much for being present with my art, this video, which is an emanation from my heart. And thank you most of all for being present with yourself. If you took some time to sit with yourself while watching this relatively slow-paced video with no background music and just the sounds of nature, your nervous system is thanking you, and so is your spirit. If you want to see more of my work, you can check out my other videos. You can also access exclusive weekly energy workings based on your requests via live stream on Patreon. You can book a one-on-one virtual energy ritual with me for more support, and you can see more of my art and ways to connect with me via my linktree in the normal places. May you and I experience liberation into love in this lifetime, and may all beings. Love you.